This time on Monkey Life. Jeremy's in Spain to pick up a new baby for the Orang nursery.
I like your haircut. Goodness me.
Who gives him the runaround.
It's going to be a very long battle. I concede. I give in.
And after years being locked up, chimp Kiki ventures into the big outdoors.
For 8 years at least, she's been sat in a tiny, tiny cage. So agoraphobia could be an issue.
Monkey World in Dorset is buried deep in the English countryside and is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. For 25 years, the team have been rescuing and rehabilitating primates from all over the world.
Hello, missus. Hey, there's a hand poking out. You want to come say hi, Jeremy?
The park is run by Dr. Alison Cronin and provides a home for more than 240 monkeys and apes from 15 different species. It's early morning, and at the Orang nursery, 13-year-old Oisin is in her favourite perch. So far, she hasn't been keen to mix with the other orangs. But today, that could all change because there's going to be a new arrival. Sylvester is a baby orangutan living at Santillana Zoo in northern Spain. His mum refused to feed him, so he's been hand-reared. Monkey World is the European creche for orphaned orangs, so they've been asked to look after him. And the team are hoping that Oisin will act as a surrogate mum. Animal director Jeremy Keeling has just arrived in Santander to pick him up.
Hello. Hello. I'm Jeremy.
Maria,
Hello.
nice to meet you. Have you had a nice trip?
Yeah, it was very good. Very good, very smooth. Okay.
Glad to hear.
Okay, let's go and see the orang.
Jeremy has years of experience in hand-rearing orangs, but he's only got 48 hours to bond with Sylvester before taking him back to the park.
Hello, Jeremy.
Hello.
Nice
Who are you? Hello. Are you right? What are you doing? I like your haircut. Goodness me. You're a very handsome brute. He says, yes, I know. You know, don't you? You're a good boy.
You're very nice.
Yeah.
Maribel has been Sylvester's main carer, so he's grown very attached to her.
Silvestre, que Jeremy.
She says, I've got my mum, I don't care about you,
No
look.
vas con Jeremy, ¿por qué? Vete con Jeremy.
Sylvester has been looked after by staff at the zoo since he was born 11 months ago. They've given him his very own playroom next door to his siblings, and Jeremy has decided this is the best place to get to know him.
Is this an aerial attack? Yes, it is. I thought it was. Obviously, we didn't know what we were going to find with Sylvester, and they've clearly done a really good job rearing him. He's obviously been brought up not focusing on one person. The thing that always goes wrong with rearing orangs, and I've done it myself with Amy, is if they only have the one person looking after them, then they just totally depend on that, and it's a nightmare, and it doesn't do anybody any good. Whereas if they'll, been happy to go to anybody, it's really nice for him, and a lot makes our life a lot easier. Don't you bite me, you bad boy.
Back in Dorset, it's a big day for chimp Kiki too. She's going outside at the park for the very first time. Kiki was recently rescued from the Lebanon. For years, she'd been kept as a pet, locked up in a small cage at the side of a road. She'd led a very lonely life, so her introduction to Hananya's gang has been a bit of a culture shock. Her first encounter with the leader himself didn't go quite as expected. Far from being shy and retiring, Kiki was, if anything, overconfident, and Hananya felt the need to show her who was boss.
Kiki's progress in terms of her rehabilitation is unparalleled. We've never had a chimp come in that's 8 or 9 years old, has never been with other chimpanzees, and has immediately settled into chimpanzee culture and lifestyle from the very first day. All of her introductions to the individuals in Hananya's group have gone brilliantly. So, it's making us all a little bit tense because everything's going so well. You're waiting for a little dip in the roller coaster ride, but it just hasn't happened. So, we're taking Kiki's lead. If she's ready to push on ahead, then so are we. And it's a lovely, fine day today. So today's going to be the first day that Kiki goes outside in her new huge enclosure. And, there are going to be a few issues for her.
Kiki relaxes inside, oblivious to what's about to happen.
We're just doing all the final checks for the enclosure. We're going to put a little bit of breakfast outside for her, check all her electric voltages and everything, just make sure there's nothing that's going to be either put her off or that's going to be dangerous.
The little chimp isn't used to electric fences, and the staff are concerned she may get too close. So today they're turning the voltage down slightly. A scattering of breakfast is usually all it takes to entice the chimps out. With the slide to the bedroom open, Honey and Valerie lead the way. Tuti and Zeynep follow. Along with Patricia, these 4 chimps have been specially chosen because they've been particularly friendly to Kiki since she arrived. But so far, Kiki isn't tempted, preferring the security of the adjacent playroom.
For 8 years at least, she's been sat in a tiny, tiny cage with not a lot of freedom. So agoraphobia could be an issue.
Staff open the door to the playroom as well to try and encourage Kiki outside. But she's still reluctant. In the end, Patricia realizes she's missing and comes to her rescue, leading the way. This is a big step for Kiki. The 15-meter climbing frame must be daunting for her, as she isn't used to scaling such heights. Valerie gives her some reassurance, while Honey watches from on high. Kiki boldly follows her up, then loses her nerve. With no real body tone, she could easily have fallen. She chooses safer territory below.
This is the first time in Kiki's life that she's been able to run and run as much as she wants. The legs are going. It's like Forrest Gump. Everywhere she's going, she's running. Not only has she had to get used to the great outdoors and having her freedom, but when you get up on these climbing frames, you get quite an amazing view out over Dorset. And of course, she's hearing the Siamangs calling. We had the golden-cheeked gibbons calling. And so she's really just taking in, where she is, what's around her in the environment. You can see her, everything, she's sort of surveying everything, looking up at the sky, checking out the climbing frames. The other ladies are very good at tight hose walking. So you can see them, they can, without any hands, actually walk along the fire hoses.
Kiki decides to give it a go, but doesn't quite pull it off.
Still have a little bit of skills to master. Finding her balance is taking a little bit of time. Now, she's gone out with 5 familiar ladies today and really has made a difference because they're all really calm. There hasn't been sort of really any shouting, displaying, hoo-ha at all. What's interesting to see is that certain individuals are really sticking with her, and I think actually it's a good sign that she's made some really very good friends that will hopefully continue on through her lifetime here.
In Spain, Jeremy is slowly winning Sylvester over.
There's a spot right between an orangutan's shoulder blades. If you touch it, they just fall apart. They can't cope. They go all like this.
Sylvester is a Sumatran orangutan. All the other orangs at Monkey World are Bornean. Sumatrans are more ginger than auburn in colour, and their hair is slightly longer. They also tend to have longer faces.
Gotcha.
Orangutans are only native to the islands of Borneo and Sumatra in Asia, and although they're all endangered, Sumatrans are critically endangered. It's thought there are only around 7,500 of them left in the wild.
Sumatran orangs are markedly more sociable with other orangs than what Borneans are. So that's probably why he's taken to somebody he doesn't know so easily. I don't think you'd have got that nearly so much with a Bornean. And also, I'm hoping it'll help him integrate with our orangs.
Next door, Sylvester's sisters Julieta and Victoria are keen to get a piece of the action. He regularly spends time with them. They also had to be hand-reared, but they've grown into confident, mischievous orangs and are always happy to lead their little brother astray.
You don't that rubbish, do you? No, not that. It's great because most days he comes in here and says hello to the sisters, and he's been brought up not to be a pet, not to be focused on one person, to be totally aware of the orangs around him and going in with them every day. They've done so well because it's just going to make our life and Sylvester's life so much easier. It's really nice to know that he's been getting this sort of contact on a daily basis.
It's been a while since Jeremy has hand-reared an orang, but his skills are about to be put to the test.
Just trying to see whether he'll take a bottle from me. There you go. Is that all right? When you're hungry enough, it's not so bad, is it? Don't choke. Don't choke, you idiot. Have you done? Yeah, done choking. It's important that he learns that, you know, that me, somebody else is going to feed him other than the people that he's used to. And particularly orangs get very fixated on one person feeding them. And an orang is so mother-dependent, even more than a chimp or a gorilla, because they only see their mothers. I mean, being a more solitary animal, and there is very little interaction between anybody else other than your mother, and that's okay until there comes a time when that person isn't there anymore. Don't bite your teeth.
With Sylvester fed, Jeremy turns his attention to the rest of the nighttime routine.
Right, watch this. Good boy. Quickly. Go off with one and on with the other. Quick as that. I always say if you can get a nappy on an orangutan, you can do pretty well anything. That's it. We're done. Yeah. Come on. Come on, we're going back. We're going to bed now.
In Spain, Jeremy and Sylvester are about to set off on the long journey back to the park.
You don't know what's coming, do you? I got a surprise for you. I'm sure he'll be fine. He's all very durable at this age. Anything's okay. Isn't it? Hey, you always
Hasta luego, Teresa.
Two of Sylvester's carers are coming along to make sure the little orang settles into his new home.
I think we're just having a bit of a moment here because obviously it's a bit emotional for everybody. And then be off. The journey probably be a lot easier for him than everybody else. I mean, he's just a little baby. He's just going to hang on to his mum, and there's no confinement. There's no boxes. There's no crates. He'll be just as a baby. He's fine. Couldn't care less. Just hanging out. Obviously of interest because he's not done it before, but you're not bothered, are you? Wait, Sylvester? No.
His departure has attracted a lot of attention from the press. He's even given his own ticket. Special permission has been granted for Sylvester to travel in one of the cabins on the ferry because he's so young. Normally, primates are transported in crates in the cargo area. The journey from Santander to Portsmouth will take 20 hours. That's a long time to keep a baby orang amused, and Sylvester soon has the upper hand.
Right, we're going to see if we can use the climbing frame that we've just constructed for you to enable us to put a nappy. Yeah, just stay there. Look, this is good. We could market this. Look at the skate monkey. Where's that dart gun?
It seems Jeremy's success with the nappy last night was a bit of a fluke.
It's going to be a very long battle. I concede. I give in. No. There. Just leave that on now, OK? That is a very bad idea. That is a terrible idea.
But Sylvester won't need nappies for much longer.
He's at that age now that really putting the nappy on is a gesture. Well, he's got probably 12 hours left of wearing nappies, or less than that. And then nappies will be no more.
Meanwhile, in Dorset, an overnight snowfall has turned Monkey World into a winter wonderland. Paddy and Gamba are quite happy to brave the cold. As is Buster, who can't resist having a taste of the white stuff. At Hananya's enclosure, keepers are making the most of the snow to keep the chimps entertained. Jess is first to welcome the frozen visitor, while low-ranking Arthur quickly realises there are treats to be had. Leader Hananya is hoping to find some hidden treasure, but has to settle for frozen veg. Some of the residents are having to stay indoors today, but that doesn't mean they have to miss out on the fun. Amy's capuchins are being given some tasty mealworm snowballs. All these monkeys were rescued from a lab in Chile where they'd been used for experiments, so this is the first time they've ever come across snow. Capuchins are extremely dexterous and very intelligent. Mary is so smart she melts her snowball on the radiator to get at the treats. At the Orang nursery, staff are busy making final preparations for the Spanish contingent.
They're coming by ferry into Portsmouth, so I've got, my car kitted out and togged up with blankets and hot water bottles and things if we got stuck on the side of the road. But, I don't know what the Spanish will be expecting, but the south coast of England is going to be a bit chilly and white today. The Orang nursery is really toasty and warm. I've just been in there and seen Sylvester's bedrooms, and primate care staff have done a really lovely job kitting them out with hoses, and I think he's going to slot in really well into our nursery group. Everybody in there's, I think, probably a little bit excited knowing that something's up. The 3 youngsters and Oshin are all ready to go, and it's going to be a very exciting day. We just have to get little Sylvester down here from the ferry port across to Monkey World, and the roads are going to be a little bit slippery today.
Back on the ferry, Sylvester is still monkeying around. His Spanish carers, Maribel and Andrea, have got the dubious task of getting him to take a nap. But he has other ideas and has managed to ditch his nappy again. It takes them a while to settle him, but finally he succumbs. When the ferry arrives at Portsmouth, Alison can't wait to meet her new charge.
Hey, little man. Oh, he's just beautiful, isn't he? I mean, he's just spectacular, beautiful. And you know what's really nice about this is that even for a hand-reared little boy, they've done such a wonderful job at Santillana bringing him up so that he's like easygoing and relaxed. That means that he's a very confident little man, which is fantastic because All of the ladies in the nursery are going to love him to bits, and he's not going to be shy or frightened.
The park's quarantine van has to drive onto the ferry to pick up Sylvester.
We're just getting everybody loaded up into the quarantine van. As soon as Sylvester leaves this ferry, he enters British quarantine laws. A little bit chilly out here, so we'll get him home.
There are very strict rules regarding rabies in the UK. Any wild animal entering the country has to go into quarantine for 6 months to make sure they are free of the disease. Once Sylvester has joined the nursery, all the orangs in that group will effectively be in quarantine. It's 10 o'clock when they arrive, and most of the orangs have gone to sleep, but Jolie is still awake and keen to meet the new arrival.
Oh, Jolie, what do you think?
Hello, how are you?
Finally made it back to the park, which is great. So it's been a long journey for everybody along with Sylvester, and we'll just get him settled down in the bedroom. Jeremy's going to actually stay the night with him in the house, just in case he wakes up in the middle of the night and isn't sure where he is.
Maribel gives Sylvester his last feed of the day. And despite a long night ahead, Jeremy is in good spirits.
Freedom from nappies. No more nappies.
Next time on Monkey Life. Sticking together, Linga and Dinda's hostile welcome for Sylvester.
I'm with you, boy. Right behind you. My shoulder.
And flu jabs all round, but baby Bart just can't get it right.